So how did I solve the moving platform problem? I thought it was going to be a lot harder at first, and so I was kind of procrastinating for a while on actually attempting it. I made like a basic attempt. It turns out all I needed to do was move the inherited velocity part of my code away from like into like basically just a separate move. So you move after detecting that you're on a floor and that floor has a velocity, or a velocity that you can inherit. Originally I had it so that it would save that and then add that to the velocity before executing a movement. During like the ultimate, like once you calculated everything through test moves, the actual movement, that ran into some issues with snapping, and so now basically all I did is it has its own movement. So first I move the inherited velocity, and then I just move on and do the rest of my code normally. So it's literally just literally right here. And it's about that simple. Get collider velocity is very powerful. If you have an animation player like this, that runs like so. This is not the... That's kind of a weird angle, but if you have like a platform that moves like that, I don't know why it automatically defaults to reset. This is just like keyframes of a position of this. And if you have that, basically, automatically, if you have sync to physics on, it will automatically take like the integral of this position and get the velocity. So this has a velocity, and I don't need to manually set it. So when I'm on it, the inherited velocity, or the collision.get velocity, will accurately, for the most part, report the velocity. And this even works with angular velocity. So even if it's rotating like if the animation is like angular, it's still going to treat it as it's still going to automatically do all the velocity calculations for you. So all you need to know is what you're colliding with, and then you just get the velocity, and then all I have to do in my character controller overhaul is just pre-move. Now, if I'm on this and it's going up very fast, I'm going to kind of start hovering a bit because it's going to move a little. The velocity is a bit overkill, and it's not actually what it needs to be. So the way I solve that is just by always snapping down, and that basically just allows me to stay stuck to the platform even as it's moving. But this is very, very powerful. This platform right here, it even works with my stair stepping thing. And I have it so that when I jump, unless it's moving downwards, it'll inherit, or when I jump, my jump velocity that I pass into the impulse of the jump is going to inherit the thing that I was standing on, so that it gives like the illusion of conservation of momentum. Anyway, it even works on like things that go this fast, and you try to get on there. So I mean, yeah, like it works. It's just sometimes when you go up, the thing that says if I'm able to crouch or not gets kind of buggy because it thinks that I'm colliding with something. But overall, like I'm very satisfied with this. As you can see, my velocity is being inherited, even though it's moving this fast. Right now, I have it so that if it's moving down, it's not going to inherit its velocity. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to get off the ground or get off the platform. But if it's moving up, in order for me to actually have a noticeable jump, uh, it will just add it. It's just the problem is the platform is moving about at the same speed as my jump, but yeah, it works very, very well. Some of the problems though are like velocity doesn't get reported correctly on rigid bodies. And so this thing has a velocity right now, which is very unusual. Even though it's clearly not moving, it still has a velocity. So if I jump on it, my inherited velocity will be not zero, and so I'll like jump a bit higher. Although I can't really think of a situation where I would ever have dynamic, like rigid bodies as platforms. What is happening? What am I getting stuck on? I was like getting stuck on something. I don't remember what it was. I don't know what it was. Obviously, like it's not perfect, and a lot of issues are with like how like flawed the collision detection is in this engine right now. But you know, the guys that work on what the hell? How is it stuck in the ground? The people who work on physics are aware of like the limitations, especially for convex like collision shapes, in terms of like accuracy of like accurately reporting collisions. Right now I have it so that basically this max slope height is incredibly high, so I'm able to walk up stuff like that, but usually that wouldn't be the case. So for angular things, as I said, the thing that automatically generates a velocity for an animated physics object like this is very, very powerful, and it'll automatically generate a velocity. Right? Like there's no special code right now. I'm literally just inheriting the this thing's it's automatically generating a velocity. Even though it's just rotating, and it's not even under angular velocity, it's just under like normal velocity, which is awesome because like this is exactly what you would expect if something was rotating under you. Like I am staying basically on the same spot. I'm just like rotating, and you know, like my code is very flexible and will allow you to like treat this moving slope as if it were any other slope, which is cool. it'll continue to treat it like as accurately. Yeah. So that's a quick update video that I wanted to make about platforms. And now that platforms are done, I just need to fix a few bugs with crouching and with how because when I uncrouch, I do like a trace, which is like a request to the physics server to see if I were to like be uncrouching right now, would I be colliding with something? And the answer, like for this, is yes. But the second I'm out of there, it's no, and so it allows me to get unstuck. But that part of the code seems to be a little bit buggy with moving platforms. It might also just be because I'm not getting correct collision data. At this point, I'm fairly convinced that my code is just good enough. Like it's not. I've been watching a few videos as well on YouTube of people who have been trying to tackle this problem at around the same time as me, and like they've had to tackle the exact same problems, and it was really interesting to hear them talk about like the um, same like limitations, or not limitations, but like the same conceptual like math problems that they had to solve in order to get to a situation where they had a movement system like this. Um, yeah, it's nice. One thing though is, and this is just a problem with the collision detection system, is sometimes when you'll like ease off a slope, it's not going to fully detect. Like it's gonna still think that you're colliding with something, and as such, it's gonna not set your snap vector to 0, and we want the snap vector to be set to 0 when we slide off like a cliff, because otherwise it wouldn't make sense to, like, as we're approaching the thing, we just like teleport down to the ground. And for most cases that work, but there are some weird edge cases where just the like collision detection just isn't reporting it correctly, and we don't snap down. This also happens when moving super slowly downstairs. It's just like the whole snapping thing isn't being reported very accurately on occasion. But I have hope that that like R Burning and the other like people that work on physics for this game, like collision or physics for this engine, will make the collision detection even better. And it's already very, very good because I was able to make this. Um, anyway, that's that. Um, yeah, so like I'm gonna try to get up to the over here. Of course, if I get like if a platform pushes me, I'll like get stuck under the ground. So there's like this shape right here. This is a rigid body, or this is a what do you call it? This is a rigid body that clearly isn't moving, but as you can see, we're standing on it, and we're currently inheriting very high velocities from it. Um, I don't know why this happens, uh, but it causes us to jump higher because obviously we have like a higher velocity. Um, yeah, I just realized that the OBS has been complaining that encoding is overloaded. I don't understand what is happening. I'm running the game perfectly smoothly. I really don't understand what's going on. But the stream probably looked horrible. And I apologize, but whatever. There's also this shape that if I like touch on, sometimes I'll like teleport into it and it'll break it. Anyway, okay, sorry about the horrible quality. Don't understand what's wrong with OBS. Yeah, that's really weird. Anyway, thank you. Bye.